Hello. I wanted to share with you some of the things that I've learned from struggling with an eating disorder. First of all, it's really a journey that you're going on. It's not the destination. You have to look at it as a process where you're going to be learning about yourself, about your triggers, and why you do certain things, and just getting better every day. So it's not just like, I'm going to be free of this, I'm going to weigh a certain amount. It's more like I'm going to put myself into a mindset of growth, a journey type of mindset, so that you can start being successful right away instead of putting it off, instead of saying, I'm going to be successful when I weigh this amount or when I stop binging or whatever. And so then just to recognize that it's a process. So that's a really important step. Another important thing is to work on what you can control. So just weighing yourself every day or watching that, continuing to watch the weight, that is something that's just very difficult to control because there's so many factors that go into your weight. It could be water retention and whatever. There's just a lot of stuff. And so then if you're just focused on weight, then that's out of your control. But there's things that you can control. So that's what I focus on, are the things that I can control. Also looking into emotions. So emotions play a really big part in an eating disorder. I never realized this until I was reading a book about weight loss, because I'm always been obsessed with weight loss, and the question was, why am I fat? And that really took me back, because it's like you think, oh, well, it's just because I overeat, I don't have enough self-control, I don't exercise enough. And yet that started me on a journey of really learning about the emotions that are underneath the behavior and trying to start working on those. And I actually have gone to counseling, and I have also worked a 12-step program. And so that's really been helpful at trying to get to the root of what's going on. A really important thing is, excuse me, to not weigh yourself every day. For me, that was just a recipe for just losing it. Just my happiness and my mental state was completely dependent on this one number. And so I've had to stop. I actually don't weigh myself at all. I use other markers, like how my clothes are fitting, to kind of figure out if I've started to gain too much weight or whatever. But I definitely, I don't weigh myself at all, but I definitely do not recommend weighing yourself every day. For me, sugar is poison. When I really start to think about how I feel after I eat something, then I realize that I feel very sick after I eat sugar. I feel like throwing up. It seems like that would be your body's natural reaction if you've just taken in poison. And I eat it, and then I feel sick, and I feel awful, actually physically terrible, not just guilty about eating and overindulging, but actually physically just very, very ill from that. And so I know that my body is telling me that sugar is not something that I should be eating. And so So it works better if I'm more aware of what feels good, what my body responds to. When I have the urge to binge, and that's often when emotions are out of control, when things have gone wrong and all that, I try and use some other sensory type of activity. So, you think about it, eating is just one sensory activity, and there's other things that you can do to calm yourself, to numb yourself or to stimulate yourself. So anyways, I love putting ice packs on my neck, and I keep some water bottles in my freezer, and I just go and I lie down, and I just lie down and I feel that, and it feels really comforting, and it gets rid of inflammation in my neck, which I have a lot of. I have a lot of stress and all that, and so it's something I look forward to. So if I'm starting to feel stressed, I just think, okay, I'm going to go and spend a little bit of time with my ice packs on my neck, and that's going to feel good. Or maybe I use some peppermint essential oil, and I massage that into my scalp. And so there's like a very strong smell, and then it starts to tingle and all that. And so that's another thing to try is to do something with your other senses. Another thing that I found really helpful is to listen to uplifting music. So that's using another sense. So there's other ways to soothe myself, to calm myself, other than just eating. If I do end up eating, binging, or whatever, using sugar as an escape, then I just let it happen. I just roll with it, and then just let it go, as hope that it just kind of like peters out as soon as it needs to. And we don't have a lot of judgment about that. I just know that it happened, and that I have a chance for things for me to do better the next time, and try and handle it better next time, try and deal with the underlying emotions and all that kind of stuff. I find that dieting is very counterproductive. That when I diet and start counting calories, that's just when I put myself into a very stressful situation where I'm so focused on eating and feeling hungry and all that's when the binging comes. I have a lot more tendency towards binging then. And so then, instead of dieting, I have systems. So, like, for example, I don't consume any calories through liquid. I don't drink any calories. So I just drink water or unsweetened herbal tea, and that's it. So I'm not even using like sugar-free sodas or whatever, just not consuming any calories that way. I don't eat highly processed foods or prepackaged foods or fast foods. I eat whole grains and prepared at home food most of the time. And so that's it's very helpful to have these processes in place. It's something that I can do, that instead of just focusing on what I can't do, what I'm not allowed to eat, it's like, this is what I can do. And recently I've started to incorporate eating 3 cups of vegetables a day. And so that's very helpful, because that's another thing that I can do. I find it's easier to add things, what I can do, instead of deprive myself. I also have a system of daily exercise. So if I don't get something really vigorous in, like some pickleball or some calisthenics, then I make sure I go for a 30-minute walk. And so I just have these little systems in place instead of like a big diet plan. And that's been very helpful. Just want to end with saying that your self-worth is not tied to your physical appearance. So God said this in the Bible in 1 Samuel 16:7. It says, "For the Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." And I agree. We all want to look good. We all want to feel our best. We want our outside appearance to mirror what our inside person is. But in this journey, just want you to know that you are loved as you are and that you are a precious individual. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.